Hey, we'll get right back to our regularly scheduled program, but I wanted to announce that Saturday, June 22nd, I will be streaming a 12-hour subathon stream on Twitch only. Normally, I do both YouTube and Twitch from 9 a.m. till noon, Mountain Standard Time in the summer, Central Standard Time in the winter, because I don't follow or observe daylight savings in my province. But this June 22nd, Saturday, we will be going from noon till midnight, 12-hour subathon. It is my birthday, and I would love for you guys to support me. Come over to Twitch. The link is in the description down below, and make sure you just come by, say hi, have fun, and enjoy the 12-hour stream. It's on Twitch only because there may be adult beverages involved in the later stages. I'm not going to start at noon, but we're gonna pace ourselves. We all remember 2020. I think it was 2020, maybe 2019. It was a mess, so we're not gonna do that again. But I would love for you to come out, support the channel, support the stream, and just have some fun. We'll be playing mainly Raid Shadow Legends. We're also gonna play Watcher of Realms. Hey, maybe you'll talk me into Dragonair, or maybe we'll fire up Cyberpunk. I don't know. We got 12 hours worth of play. We're going to do everything and anything. I'm going to have some wonderful, wonderful different competitions and things. And maybe we'll think up some stupid stuff I'll do for enough subs or something. I don't know. I'm scared. But June 22nd, Saturday, mark it on your calendar. I'll be there. And Mrs. Capper, who is, will be with her family, because she of course doesn't live with me. She's going to be with her family, but she's going to join the stream at some point when she gets home for a little bit as well. So you'll be able to have some fun with both of us on the channel, asking questions, do all the fun stuff. But I hope to see you there. Now let's get on to the regular video. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Mad Capper. This is another video on Raid Shadow Legends. Let's get a sip of coffee and start off this morning with some information. I thought it'd be good getting back into the swing of making videos to give you one of the videos I never do, because that makes sense, right? So we're going to talk about the new fusion that's upcoming, as well as the Raid Digest, and as a little preview for the next video, I'm a filthy whale and I bought Primal Shards. And it'd been a while since I've spent on this game, and Hell Hades is at fault because, as my fiance so aptly told me, I have the bug, but it was dormant. And Hell Hades, you activated with your video, which I won't spoiler alert, but he does get a mythical, and you can watch his video. But there's a Primal Shard video coming soon. I'm gonna film it tonight with Mrs. Capper. We're gonna be opening up those, and then we're gonna go through the anniversary deck of Fate, which we will then have obviously enough points to get through, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if we can get some luck there. But this video, we're going to talk about the new fusion and whether or not I think you should be going through the fusion or not. Hit it or skip it. I feel like that's a little bit too 90s, but whatever. Here it is. Here she is. I'm going to move her over to the other screen so I can see her. It is the Incarnate. She looks badass. She is high elf. It's about time, by the way. I've been about the only proponent of high elves getting new champions because they have very few. I don't know if people don't realize, because they're such a well balanced, they only have 51, and they've been adding a lot more of late, right? Othorian came in, she'll be in as well. Of course, we also got the Supreme Elhain a little bit earlier in Tatura, but and Lenithral, and of course Galathir, one of the greatest mythicals in the game. But very few in the grand scheme of things. When you take a look here, 51 versus 74, 81, 68, right? That whole line. Now, poor Lizardman, also well-rounded legendaries. At least their epics are terrible for the most part. There's a couple notable exceptions, but it is good that they're, just because the high elves have some really good champions doesn't mean they shouldn't have a well-rounded court. And of course, you know, Bannerlord, Sacred Order getting all of these. Even the Undead Horde finally got a Void Affinity a pair of Void Affinity undead, which is they were the last ones to have that. So it's good to see, my point, that the High Elves, which are only one more than Shadowkin right now, are starting to see some more additions. Now, you don't care. You want to talk about the actual fusion, so let's take a look at the kit. I have not looked at this kit before. This is my first look. She looks cool. I'm just worried because Pixneal looked cool, also a High Elf. So we'll see what happens here. I gotta warm the vocal cords with some coffee. Okay, number 1, A1 attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 30% book to 50% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn. I like provoke, 50%, pretty good. Has a 10% chance of counterattack an ally when Arbiter is hit. Are they just saying, hey, you should use her with your Arbiter comp and your Trenda comp? Maybe. So A1 screams Hydra, right? 50% chance. I don't know when ally Arbiter is hit. That seems kind of extremely. It should be when a High Elf is hit. I think that's a little bit ridiculous, but whatever. Move on. Everyone has Arbiter, or will have Arbiter. She's free. So I guess in that respect, everyone will be able to pair her with Arbiter. We'll put it that way. All right, A2, Formation Phalanx, and it's 4 bookable to 3, turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies, AoE, I like it. Has a 75 book to 100% chance of removing all shield buffs and 1 random buff from all enemies. Places a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns. The value of the shield is proportional to this champion's defense. So I'm trying to think of where that's important. I guess if your shields get stolen by the Hydra, definitely not a Hydra ability, though it is an AoE, so is okay. Who's got a shield that we have to worry about? I guess the potion dungeon. Is people still worried about potion dungeon? I don't know. It seems. I mean, at the core, it sounds good, but the reality is shield buff in PvE. Not a lot of enemies have a shield buff. There are a few out there, but it's not really a big issue. As far as PvP, yeah, shields can be an issue, but typically those shields are in a bolster set, which cannot be removed. So they're protected. So this is really not going to do much. Protection gear is becoming more and more prevalent, which means a lot of shield champions are in protection, which there's a certain percentage chance. So I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of this A2, but it potentially could be something. So maybe. Defense-based champion, by the way. A3 on a 3-turn book cooldown. Places an ally protection buffs on allies except for this champion for 2 turns. Places 25% strength on allies. Okay, so now we're back to Hydra. So are they adding a Hydra shield head? Because honestly, I mean, I guess there is a shield, but that shield's protected, so you can't take the shield from the head of Decay. So I guess I should mention that. But this is a straight up defensive-based champion, has ally protection, has strength, and probably doesn't hit very hard, because typically when they have ally protection, you don't want them to hit hard, because if you give them crit damage, that crit damage is actually calculated in the amount of damage they take from ally protection. Mental math to make that thing not fixed in 5 years. My God. Also, 15 years. JK's got to have something coming out. 15-year Plarium, the cake is back. I saw the header of his Free to Succeed. That made me giggle. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's find out what the passives are. Crisis response on a cool. I hate passives that are on a cooldown. 4-turn cooldown increases the champion's accuracy by 20 for each ally under an ally protection buff. So 100 max, right? Because 5 allies in Hydra. When killed, resets the cooldown of Destiny's Call skill for any ally arbiters. So you pair her with Arbiter, and it's any ally arbiters. So there could be 2 parts. You can. It doesn't do one. It will do what? It will do both. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, this effect will activate only once. So you can actually get both your arbiters, because that would be important if you had 2 arbiters and you were both using them in the same team. But it can do it. But so she dies and she automatically resets the cooldown on Arbiter's revive to bring her back alive. I actually kind of like that. Increases this champion's resistance by 20, also on a 4-turn cooldown. I don't like the cooldown. For each ally, so up to 100 again in Hydra. This is a very good Hydra ability. I'll tell you my problems, and I hope maybe for once Plarium listens, because I think this champion's nearly really, really good. This champion will also receive 20% of the damage of any ally arbiters if there are multiple champions on the team with the same skill. If arbiter is about to be killed by a fatal hit, places unkillable buff on her for 1 turn. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, this effect will only activate once. So I'm not quite sure why this love for arbiter, because arbiter is only really used in Hydra as an attack boost champion with the heals in like the Trunda double Yumiko. There's a few cases she's like the number 2 option for some of those high damage teams. But I don't think you're going to replace any of the other champions needed in that comp with her. So I'm a little bit sus on the Arbiter part. But I will say it is a useful skill if you're pairing her with Arbiter in a silo. Just forget what you're talking about. You put her and Arbiter in the same one, and she's going to make... If she dies, Arbiter's going to be able to revive her right away. And if Arbiter's about to die, saves her. Plus takes Arbiter's damage so that Arbiter is more survivable. I mean, it sounds nice. It seems a little bit specific, but I'm okay with it. So here's the deal. Here's what I think. This champion doesn't seem very good. However, for Hydra, almost seems really well. I just don't understand. There's a couple things. First of all, she's getting increased resistance, which is great. That's what you want. So can we give her an extra buff so that she can be the head of mischief target, so that her extra resistance will pad her to be able to resist the steal the buffs, which would be a great arbiter mechanic, or sorry, a great Hydra mechanic. I've got arbiter in the head now. There's so many arbiters here. Defensive measures, if strength buff for all allies, maybe, and an increased defense on this champion for 2 turns. That way she's got that extra buff, right? It's the same reason, you know, Chris heals himself with those 2 extra buffs. That make him the target. If we could do that, that would be sweet. And then this phalanx, my problem with the phalanx is that the shield isn't that prevalent. Standard shield isn't that prevalent in any area that you're actually going to use this champion. I see Hydra written all through this. I know they're trying to make this PvP, an arbiter-centric, because, hey, the speed meta is dead, so here's another way to revive the speed meta. The speed meta is back, but this even helps it even further. In theory, you now have a champion that is solely committed to ensuring your arbiter survives, thus giving you more opportunities to win in arena. I understand that. But the shield buff is not a big thing. I guess in Gold 5 standard, there might be some old shield set champions out there. But if you're looking live arena, if anyone has a shield set, it's going to be a bolster set, which is protected. If the shield sets shields are being put up by champions, they might be protected. They might not, in which case you can steal those. That's great. There's a few meta champions that put up shields. Not a ton anymore, or at least currently. But there's a few, so that might be argued. From a PvP standpoint, but overall, I don't know. I'm not really excited. I've skipped every fusion for the last 6 months. I'm not going to go for this one personally because I have to open up shards to do that, and I'm saving my shards except for my primals, which you're going to see tonight with Mrs. Capper. Please like and subscribe and notify so that you'll be told when that hits. Another coffee. Yeah, overall, I think this is it's a solid champion. I wouldn't be upset if I pulled her from shards. If I was like, oh, hey, I got incarnate. That might be interesting. I might be able to play around with her. But it's not a champion I'm running. It's not a champion I'm excited about. If I skip Wixwell, which I was excited about, I just knew I wasn't going to open up shards for him. If I didn't stop for that, I'm not going to stop for this. So she looks good. She looks fun. But at the end of the day, probably a nothing burger for me. And if you have to strain yourself, not for this. Not good enough. Fun if you get her, great. If you have plenty of resources, you can do this efficiently. I think she's good enough for I wouldn't say like burn it to the ground. She's not a pick-steal, but I think that A2 is too situational. Obviously, the Arbiter thing is ridiculously situational. And it's trying to make it's trying to make like almost like a arbiter specific necrit, if anything, right? Instead, it's got ally protection, except for it's on everyone. It's got strengthen. It's got the save arbiter skill, all of that fun stuff. Too easily countered because it's on a cooldown. The unkillable buff for 1 turn be easily after you just see her in with Arbiter. You bring in Rhodos or Georgid or something like that, and yeah, I don't know. It's kind of neat, but it's kind of gimmicky. Not a big fan of anyone that's just a single champion as their special unique. So, though I do like the fact that she increases resistance, increases accuracy. Wish she would put an extra buff on herself so that she would at least be Hydra viable, because the ally protection, there's shockingly not a lot of great Hydra ally protection champions on a 3-turn cooldown. So that would be really nice if she were one of them. Just the fact that she can't also, with that extra resistance, be the head of mischief target without any kind of specific, putting a buff on her specifically from another champion, those sort of things. So just my thoughts. So I don't know. Yeah, I think it's a skip for me. I expect many of you will skip it, but it's not so terrible that I wouldn't say she's not useful. I just think that there's better things to spend on. All right, so next thing I want to talk about is, of course, the Raid Digest. Again, I haven't read this, so let's find out what's going on. Wow, that's the smallest Raid Digest I've ever seen in my life. All right, hey Raiders, time has quickly passed by, and we're getting close to the update 8.6, which is planned for next week, if everything goes well, and the Digest highlight, blah, blah, blah. Free gear removal items. As you know, there'll be a new type of reward, the gear removal items, that grants you 100% gear removal discount for 1 hour, and we would certainly like to clarify a few details in this regard. Free gear removal items, which will be available as rewards for defeating the Cursed City stages, will be in addition to rewards this location already has. It won't substitute the existing rewards, and they won't replace the existing monthly gear removal event. The free gear removal items won't be given retroactive. This means if you've already conquered a stage that provides a gear removal item before the update, it won't be available for you this rotation. As compensation for that, after the release, you'll get 3 of these and an opportunity to test them out. I really like that, actually. This gear removal item is probably the greatest single item, like a non-specific item. It's just it's a general item use, like energy is a general item use, potions, the brews, as opposed to specific artifact sets. This is probably the best thing they've added in a while. It's an hour, which is more than enough time, right? You could say it for a day, but whatever, 1 hour. You're gonna build a team, you pop one of these, you're switching gear around, you build the team, Bob's your uncle. Right, I like the idea of it. I like that they're adding it to Centranos, giving us reason to actually go there multiple times, because I am struggling going there just for the desire. And as long as, if you can get, God, if you only get 1 though, like I'm hoping there's 3. If there's 3 a month, and you still get the monthly gear removal, which I heard is going to be at the midway point of the Cursed City, is when they kind of pseudo place it somewhere around that, depending on timing. It's of course going on right now, so I like that. What is the hide set filter? So there's a really cool stuff on set filters in the art and the accessories, which will allow you to find those specific, like stone, protect, Slayer I think is another one. There's a couple others, so that's good. Hide set filters button is a quality of life improvement which will be added to the game with the upcoming, and will be available for accessories. When this option is on, all accessories will be visible. When it is off, you'll see the different sets for each faction. How many? Okay, so what that means? Let's try to, because I think I saw Cold Brew do something, and I think he didn't. I feel like he made it as confusing as anything, and not intentionally. So right now, I see all the things right here. This is essentially, this is what the button will do. This will put it so that your Ogryn will just show, or whatever faction will just show all your stuff. Now with the filters, it's going to filter it by type. So the protection will be in its own group, right? And then the, what's this one? The Merciless will be in its own group. And the Slayer will be in its own, I got it right, Slayer, Stone Skin, etc., etc. Those will be segregated from just your standard items, so that you can find those ones, because that is such a peeve right now. Is like, oh my God, where's those sets? Especially if I take off the filter, I put in the equip filter, and you start scrolling through a lot. It's really hard to find these, and it's impossible to find them when they're equipped. Like, I have no idea, other than you have to kind of look at the banner style. So I think that's going to be a good addition. It just makes sense. Turn the filters off if you're just looking for the best attack ring, or turn it on if you're looking for a protection ring. I like that. I like it. It's good. What else we got? How many Forge pass levels needs to be completed. Forge Pass needs 20 points, but levels above 2 only need 10 points. Okay. How can iOS... Who cares about iOS? You're still using an Apple product. Steve Jobs passed away regrettably, and all innovation went with him. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. That's probably going to be the most controversial thing I've said in a long time. People love their Apple who love Apple. People love their Samsung who love Samsung. Or Android, Pixel, Huawei. If you want to give the Chinese government your information, just get Huawei. Use TikTok on Huawei phones. TLDR. All the social media companies already have and sell all of your information. Anyway, but they're not a government, so I get it. Okay, I'm not trying to do why am I even going controversy? Who cares? CVC will be without personal rewards, and that's it. All right, so there you go. I think you're caught up now. I think we've had a nice little chat. I hope to see you in the next video, which is the Primal. Also, keep in mind, every Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to noon, I am streaming once again on Twitch and YouTube. Socials in my bio. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Hope you have a wonderful day. Enjoy it. Get out in the sun, maybe. And most importantly, please be kind, be safe. We'll see you in the next video.